Buying land on the roadside in Ghana is one of the most difficult things you can ever think about, and most people haven't realized this. I've been getting a lot of people who are telling me, oh, I want to buy land on the roadside. I want to buy. I've gotten emails. I've gotten over like 10 orders. People want to buy land on the roadside, and I'm very sure that if they get it and they've done everything, they would love to buy. But it is not that easy to buy land on the roadside. But before I go that, if you want to buy land in Ghana, you want to buy a house in Ghana, check in the description of the video, you get my number there, reach me. If you also want me to help you do due diligence before you buy any property in Ghana, I'm available as well. If you want to book me for consultation or you want a company to handle your building project, we have a reputable company for that. Ladies and gentlemen, buying a land in Ghana is interesting, but what is more interesting and difficult is buying a land on the roadside. Most people haven't realized it, and they just think that it is that easy, like they just like the way they buy anything. They think buying land is the same way. Number one is that buying land on the roadside is very expensive. There's no specific price that I can tell you that, oh, you can buy land on the roadside this number of cities or this amount of money. No, it depends on the location, and we have different locations and their prices. So if, let's say, you are buying land somewhere around Oyibi, normal land though, around Oyibi, 150,000 Ghana cedis, 150,000 Ghana cedis. If you're going to buy it on the roadside, it can cost ×3 of the amount of money you buy an ordinary land. So if, let's say, you're buying just an ordinary land, a common land, a regular land, 150,000 Ghana cedis around Oyibi. If you want to buy it on the roadside, it can cost you ×3 of that price. That is 450,000 Ghana cedis. It can cost you ×5 of that price. That is somewhere around 150 times 5, somewhere around 750, right? You understand? It's so huge. Buying land on the roadside is not ordinary. So if you heard that, or they sell land at this area, this amount of money, and you want yours to be at the roadside, and you are likely you've gotten one, don't be comparing the price. It doesn't make sense to compare the price. So number one is for you to understand that buying land on the roadside is more expensive than buying land at the same area but not on the roadside, and this you have to take note of it. Number two is it's rare to get a land on the roadside to buy. Now I've gotten orders like 10 different people who want to buy land on the roadside, but I haven't gotten a land so far that is on the roadside that the person is willing to sell. It's so difficult, so rare to come by, because everybody understands the importance and the significance and the benefit of owning a land on the roadside. Even me, if I have a land on the roadside, I will not sell it to you. No matter how much you offer me, I will not sell it to you, because I know how I can make money out of it. It's not about selling. People own land today on the roadside and they are not selling. You think the skyscrapers they are building in Accra, you think they've actually bought the land? No. You can imagine the best and the big buildings you are seeing, the tallest building you are seeing in Accra, in the greater Accra region. You think they've actually bought the land? They didn't buy the land. So most of those properties you are seeing, the malls, the things, they didn't buy the land. The owners didn't sell those lands, unless, let's say, it's a government property and they've been able to use a strong protocol to acquire the land and do a lot of connections and stuff. It's not easy to come to sell those, to get those lands to even buy. Most of the properties you are seeing in town, they've gone into an agreement with the landowners. So, oh, we'll build this property here, and when we build this property here, we'll own it for this number of years. Then the remaining, you will take the property. That's how they go into agreement with them. So, one of my uncles, they've actually built a shop, let's say a building in somewhere around Accra. I don't want to be specific. And they own that building. The land is not theirs, but they own that building, and they have a shop where they sell building materials. They've actually leased some part of it to other people, and at the end of the day, they are going to own that property for some time, and then after that, they're going to release it to the owner. So that's the kind of agreement they went with the owner of that piece of land, because it's a good location and you can't get the land to buy. So what they actually have to do is actually go into agreement with the landowners. Some also go into an agreement like, oh, we want to develop the land, and when we develop the land, we'll give you a property inside that could be yours. So let's say they are building a skyscraper that is like 11 floors or 20 floors. They're going to give the owner of the land like 2 floors in it. That's an agreement. So they own 9, they give 2 to the owner of the land, and forever it's all of them theirs. So you can't get a land to buy. It's so difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's so difficult to actually come by. So if I own a property on the roadside, a land, a bare land on the roadside, or I'm not going to sell it to you. I'm not going to sell. I have, like, the way my brain is right now, my brain is open, and I understand the kind of business and the deals people go into. I'll come into agreement with you. One of those terms and conditions, then we'll move the deals. So that is why how a lot of people think today they are not selling the lands on the roadside. So whenever you think of buying land on the roadside, you need to open up your brain. Open up your brain to think more so that you can actually make it easy for you to come by. You understand? Not only about buying, but also owning a property on a piece of land that may not necessarily be yours. That's number two. So it's rare to actually come by or get a land on the roadside. Number three is buying a land on the roadside requires a lot of caution, a lot of experience, a lot of intelligence, a lot of legal advice, a lot of care, a lot of investment before you actually buy a land on the roadside. So if you're buying a land on the roadside, let's say I've gotten a land for you on the roadside that you want to buy, you have to actually think beyond buying an ordinary land in the same location. Buying an ordinary land at the same location may not necessarily require a lot. You just do your due diligence, you know, like that. That's okay. That's okay. Just do land search and those things, and you're good to go. But when you come about buying land on the roadside, it moves beyond that. We talk about possession other than just the documentation. So somebody can own a land on the roadside, but there may be litigation on it. So you have to look at the possession aspect of the land. The person that claims to be the owner of the land, does he actually possess the land? Does he have access to the land? Does he have a property on the land? Does he operate on the land? Are there any litigation on the land? Is he the only person that owns that land? Is it a chieftain's land? Is it a family land? Like, it requires a lot of things. Oh, you see, buying the land on the roadside is one of the trickiest things you can ever think about. So it requires a lot of things that you have to invest a lot in investigation. One, I told you, it's very difficult to come by. Two, when you finally get one, it requires a lot of in-depth, investigation before you can actually pay when it comes to, buying land. You have to also check out to understand that whether the land you are buying on the roadside, whether it has already been taken over by the government. You see, some of the lands that you see on the roadside, the government has already indicated it to be used for road. So such is an example of what you see on your screen. Most of the lands here, according to the little research we did, we've heard that the government has already made payments and, indemnified, or should I say they've already repaid the owners of the land that portion will be used for the road. So if you are buying land on the road, you also need to check that out to understand that you are not buying a land that government has already indicated to be used for road. Most people are very wicked. They've already gotten settlement from the government, but they will still go ahead to sell it to you. And buying land on the roadside, you can actually go into an agreement with a person in a way that can help you and help the person as well. So always think beyond just like the way you are buying normal land. No. Buying land on the roadside, after you do your due diligence to check the documentation, stress on the possession. Stress on your ability to actually develop it and no one comes to harm you or disturb you. Stress on security as well, because security is the key when it comes to you developing your land. I don't want to talk much about the security aspect, but it is only an advice I give to people who book me for consultation. And I've heard about people owning land on the roadside and then they've gone through a lot of litigation. That's where we are talking about, the possession I'm talking about. The person that sold the land to you, does he have anything on that land before you bought it? So all these things are very key when it comes to buying land on the roadside. There are more points I can list, but it's not everything I would like to share. I would like to keep something in my pocket. Then when I get a land for you at the roadside, I will now tell you, oh, this is why you need to do, this is why you need to do, just because I'm getting paid. My name is Imoru Sadat. If this is your first time, kindly subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to press the bell button so that you get notified whenever we post new videos. If you want to buy land in Ghana, you want to buy a house in Ghana, check in the description of the video. You get my number there, reach me. If you also want to book me for consultation, I'm available. If you also want to book me to help you do due diligence before you buy any land in Ghana, I'm available as well. If you want a reputable company to handle your building projects, we are available as well to help you through. Bye. Salam alaikum.
Subscribe to BTG Talking Business.